Welcome to Her Story of Success, a podcast sharing stories from influential women trailblazers and business leaders in hopes of inspiring you throughout your own journey of success and fulfillment. I'm Leah Glover Hayes, your host and CEO of Her Story of Success, a women's business collective. Today, I'll be talking to Lucinda Cross, and get ready because it's a fun one. Lucinda is the founder and president of the business consulting firm Activate Worldwide. And she's the founder of Activate Your Life, a nonprofit organization that helps women re-enter the workforce and their communities after being involved in the criminal justice system. Lucinda's story inspired me so much, and I'm excited for you to hear her story as well. She'll talk about some of the biggest struggles she faced and lessons she learned while building a company that's all about empowering women to embrace their own talents and abilities and get paid for it. If you enjoyed this video, I encourage you to share it with a friend or coworker who could learn a little bit more about how to value yourself. Well, Lucinda Cross, welcome to Her Story of Success. I have been fangirling you for a while, so I am super excited to introduce you to my ladies.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I read your bio and was a little intimidated because you have done a lot of things and some big things. And so where I want to start is where you are today, and then we'll kind of walk back through your journey. So is it true you have worked with Nike, Prudential, Delta, and Essence Magazine on executive leadership and empowerment?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we have so much to talk about, but tell us a little bit, because so you have a for-profit, you have a company, and then you also have a nonprofit. So tell us a little bit about what that looks like today, what your companies are, and what you do.
Absolutely. One is passion, one is profit, but they both are passionate and profitable. Yes. So Activate Worldwide was birthed because of me being the best kept secret and wanting to find out, how do I market myself? I've been marketing my clients. And so I became my own client. And then Activate Worldwide was birthed because I realized that there was other women who were phenomenal in business, and they just were the best kept secrets and didn't know how to build that platform to gain visibility. And so that's what Activate Worldwide is about: coaching, public speaking, the books, just the main support that women entrepreneurs need when it comes to marketing and the message. And then I have Activate Your Life, which is my nonprofit, which is my passion and my heart, which supports women re-entry who are just coming home, at-risk youth, young girls who are just coming home from being involved in the Department of Justice system for whatever reason. And we just help them become entrepreneurs and looking at that as a way of growth for their next step in their life. So I'm honored to just be a part of both of them.
I'm just so honored to know you now. I just feel like we're going to be friends for a long time now, because
Yes.
I love that, I feel like a lot of us women have had an awakening for the last few years of just a lot of things, of our own power, of how we support one another, that it really used to be this like ladder that there was only enough room at the top for a couple people. And now I feel like we're in this world of like, there is no top. There is, I went to South Africa with my husband, and there's this place called Table Mountain. So it's a mountain and it's literally flat on top. And I just envision, like, instead of people trying to climb up to this mountain that has this very tip point that only a couple can get there, it's like, no. We've cut that top off, and we want everyone to enjoy. Everyone should be able to have success. Everyone should be able to enjoy the life that they live. And so what I want to talk about a little bit is, what did that process of starting this company look like? Like, take us back through you realizing you were this best kept secret. And I really want to dive into your nonprofit and how you help people, because now the Department of Justice now calls on you to learn about women's empowerment, to provide them reentry and development information. So let's talk a little bit about what were you doing when you realized you were a best kept secret, and how did that process of starting your own company look like?
Oof, man, this is good. So, for me,
I got all day, by the way. So we're just like, get comfortable.
I love it. Yes, let's grab our tea. But when I realized that I was the best kept secret and things needed to change is when the things that I was implementing in other people's businesses. I was working with authors, coaches, life coaches, business coaches, sales coaches, authors, coaches, and public speakers. And when I looked at how I was writing keynote messages where they were getting paid 10,000, 20,000 to get on stage, I was ghostwriting books for authors and helping them market and sell their books. And then also helping them with their coaching programs and how to market it. When they were making money and my car was getting towed, there was a shift. When I seen them making money and I seen them on front stage, but my lights were being turned off because I'm an entrepreneur. So I didn't understand my value and my worth, which wasn't their fault.
Right.
Because here I am working at blood, sweat, and tears for coins, right? And I have this saying, what wisdom doesn't teach you, rock bottom will. And I realized that
that's quotable.
The more I was the more I was helping people grow in their business, it seemed the more I was digging myself a hole in poverty. And so I knew that God did not give me the gift to help others and not help myself. I needed to eat from my own table, like you were saying with the table. And so I said, I shut my business down. I said, I need to do a complete new rebrand, new pricing, new approach, new team. And I need to just focus on how can I become what I'm creating. Ooh. And when I become what I'm creating and they see the success in me, although I was fearful because I was okay. I used to lie and say, I'm fine with being behind the scenes. The truth is, I wanted a taste of what the front looked like. I wanted a taste of what it was like to get those $10,000 checks, these contracts from different brands, having people, signing my book and having people actually purchase something that I put together. And so I was behind the scenes as a ghostwriter, behind the scenes of the marketing plan, behind the scenes of keynote messages. And I said, enough is enough. I need to put myself out there. And when I did, I shifted my company. It was once called LC Associates for Lucinda Cross, and I turned it into Activate because that's what I needed to do. I read this amazing book called Strength Finders 2.0 by Tom Rath.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And my top strength. Yes, you did, right? And it was amazing. And so my top strength was activation. And I said, that's it. I'm the activator. I'm going to activate.
I love it.
And, shout out to Tom Rath. You helped me get my brands together. But, I from that point, I said, Activate Worldwide is who I'm going to be moving forward, starting with my first book, my first keynote, and my first coaching client. And the rest is history.
Oh, I love it. So Activate Worldwide is that company and you did great. You're moving forward. When did you say, okay, I need to create a nonprofit? Like, what did that thought process look like, or what was happening around you, or what were you seeing that made you decide I need to do this and then actually do it? Because a lot of people will see it, but then don't know how to activate it and make it happen.
Exactly. So I was working with a lot of re-entry programs, and I would hear the complaints of the women of what they didn't receive. So they have to go to one organization to get one thing, another organization to get another thing. And it was just extremely frustrating for them. And I said, what if I can just marry the resources and the people together so that they have the hub that they can get what they need and direct that path for them. And that's, and so it's one thing with giving, but I didn't realize that I can give and get paid and compensated for the give. And so there was grants out there. There was grants that other nonprofits were receiving. So I said, hey, these free workshops, you mean you can pay me because you just got a grant for it and you'll get more money when they see the success from the workshop that I'm providing? Okay, we need to be better nonprofit. Friends. Exactly. Yes. Now, how do I put myself in a position to get to be a part of your grants to joint venture? And they said, well, you need a 501c3. I said, say no more. I'll be back in 3 months.
Oh my gosh, you are a get it done girl. I love it. I love it. So let's go back a little farther. So you were already doing this content work for folks when you got started, but where did you get your education? So did you actually go to college? How did you get the skills to do what you did? And what made you know that's where you want to put your skills, is helping people write speeches and market themselves? Because that's kind of a niche thing. So how did you get there?
So I went to Iona College. From Iona, I went to Mercy College. Iona, I studied business. And then when I went to Mercy College, I studied business and marketing. So I always had a passion for how did things get started in someone's backyard? And then now you see it sold everywhere in Walmarts. Like, I was just intrigued with the process of advertising and how people were able to take one idea and now serve to the masses. And I wanted to know what that looked like. And so what really helped was my mentor. His name is Andrew Morrison. He just really helped to mold everything, because I was all over the place. You know, here I am, I'm a mom, I'm trying to understand how to still be a woman after momhood, you know, and now I'm a business owner, but now I'm not behind the scenes, I'm in front of the scenes. So now I have to look at how is my brand being positioned, making sure that I wasn't falling into shiny object syndrome, which I was doing.
Yes.
And then also making sure I didn't fall into imposter syndrome, because I've seen everybody else doing things that look successful, but I wasn't sure if that was for me, but I said, well, let me try it. And so my mentor really helped me hone in on my skills to say, you're a great communicator, you're a great listener, you can hear a vision and create a plan for it and a process. Let's hone in on what that looks like for you and for those that you want to serve. And so having that mentor, I mentored with him for 4.5 years, traveled with him wherever he went as much as I possibly could, begged my mother to do the babysitting and just like, seriously. And I said, I'm just going to show up. And the crazy thing about it is a lot of people think that mentors are supposed to serve you on a silver platter. And I think it's the opposite. The mentor is going to pull you in so that you can become a sponge for the information. And that's what he did. So he didn't pay for me to see him speak on stages and take notes. He didn't, when I was selling his products at the table, I didn't get a cut of what he sold. It was up to me to invest in myself to gain the information that would save me 10, 20 years in business. So I'm here today because what I learned 11 years ago from him, which he helped me springboard, or else I still would try to be picking up the pace in my brand and business. But I had to put also sweat equity in it and just show up, no complaints, learn, not feel like I was the Miss Know-It-All, you know, and just kind of really just be this sponge to take in all the information and then execute after it.
I want to talk a little bit about who do you surround yourself with? Because for me, I am the idea person. I stay at this 30,000 foot. When it gets time to do details, it's like, it gives me so much anxiety because I'm like, I'm a shiny object person. And so then I'm like, I'll probably focus in on the wrong ones. So I think the one thing I've done really well is like my business partner is the yin to my yang. She's literally like, I married the most amazing man in the world. I promise you, she is the girl version of my husband in all the good ways and how they like help me succeed. And so I feel like I've just really found people that can do the things that I can't, that share that same vision that I have for her story of success. So talk a little bit about, because you are one woman, you physically cannot do everything, but you are like an entrepreneur and you do have to wear all the hats. Walk me through a little bit of what it looked like when you started your business and all the things that you did. And then what did you maybe start to get help on or let go of? And who do you really surround yourself with to help you fulfill and succeed all the things that you're doing?
Absolutely. Well, the key is, and I'll take some steps back to answer your question, was delegate.
Yes, ma'am.
I needed to learn to let go because I had my hand in too many pots. So it started out with me being the accountant, which I was horrible at, the bookkeeper, which I was horrible at. The only thing that I was good at was marketing. And everything else, the sales, I was horrible at. You know, I would take a $5,000 contract and dumb myself down to $500. So I needed to get people in place because the business was suffering because I wasn't great at certain things. I was trying to build websites, trying to do social media campaigns. It was just way too much on my plate. And I was exhausted and starting to lose passion in the reason why I started my business. Yeah.
Well, I think that's so important because, I mean, as an entrepreneur, you do have to start doing everything. But I love that you immediately started to recognize where you needed to delegate. So what did that look like for you? Did you hire an outside company? Did you find a friend? Like, what did it look like for you to kind of build your team or your tribe or whatever you like to refer to it as?
I asked for referrals, and I had to be completely honest with myself, and those who are listening, we have to write down and make a list of what's working and what's not working. And if
Mm,
you realize that your business is looking the same year after year, I guarantee you there's a lot of things on the not working list that are going to hold you back.
yeah.
And the thing that I needed to shift was having clarity on what changes I needed to make. And the biggest change was to hire a financial advisor because I loved making money, but I loved spending it. And that's a horrible trait, And
Are
so,
we the same? Are we sisters?
yes,
That's yeah.
yes. Cheers, sis. Cheers.
Cheers.
And,
I like
and
stuff.
so I like to, yes. And so I started to look for virtual assistants who can help me remotely with some of the admin work, some of the email responses, and
Yep.
even negotiating some contracts because I wanted to get out of it. And so I needed a middle person to do
That's
that for me.
huge. I love
Yeah.
that you're saying that because I just hear so many people say like, well, you have to be your best salesperson. And you're like, but what if that's not your skill set? I love that you're being honest about this. Thank you so much for being honest. So what did that look like? Because that sounds scary to have someone else like sell your product. So how did you find that person that could come in and be that middle person that would help you with your contracts? Because to your point, like what you know your skill set, but then sometimes being able to negotiate that, it is maybe better or more effective to have someone else that's their skill set, right?
Absolutely. And then asking. So I put out information on LinkedIn. I put out information on, I can't even think of the sites right now. I'll try to find it, but you can actually put in the help that you need and you can put how long you want that support. It'll tell you the person's skill set, the resume, and you interview people and they'll tell you, do you want them project based or hourly based? And I would just do project based because I'm like, let's see how we work for 3 months, and then we'll determine if I need to work with you longer. And then I would ask them and be clear, listen, these things are a mess. What do you see yourself doing to fix these things up? Because I wanted them to have a vision to help me and not me telling them because I have no clue.
Because you have, yes, that's exactly what I've said. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Otherwise, I would do it myself.
Yeah, exactly. So tell me what you can do so that we can get it done. Right. And so after interviewing people, and some people work out and some don't. And I also have to be free with that because I was also that type of person that if they don't know how to do it, I'm just going to do it anyway. And I'll get it done, and I needed to get away from that mentality and say, no, find someone who can do it. You don't have to be the end all to everything, Lucinda, because I also was a huge control freak. Like I had to, and a micromanager, I had to let that go. I didn't need to eat. Well, did you send the email? And what did, so I also gave them a process, like my virtual assistant. I said, listen, I need you to do research. When you do the research, this is what I want you to say. Can you draft up an email? And just being very clear on what I expected week after week and month after month. And finding those virtual assistants was key. I'm going to try to find that link. One site is upwork.com. And another one is, I think it's Idea something, but Upwork is really good to find help. Yeah.
So you got help, you delegated. So now you're able to kind of build and grow. Talk to me a little bit about what that looks like. Like, who are your clients? And then maybe give us an example or two of someone that started working with you and that you helped get them to that next level of success that they were. Like, brag a little bit and tell us a success story. but share us a little bit about what that is. Like, who is your client and what did that process look like?
So my ideal client, the clients that I work with now, of course, are women, right?
Whoop, whoop.
A lot of feminine energy. Women run the world. But and ironically, I started out working with men. I started working with men. Yeah, and it just took a shift when I did the rebrand and was more vulnerable about who I am and me as this woman. The men just kind of weeded themselves out, and I was like, okay, and women started showing up, but with the dominant energy. And so my client, she is someone who has reached a certain level of success, feels like she wants more, maybe stuck at a point financially. So maybe she has reached 6 figures, or maybe she is right at the peak of trying to get there. And she's just looking to either marry her products and services or her service and product, but looking for a way to gain more visibility and, put herself out there more so that she can build a list. She's looking to get into a new market and create an experience out of her brand. And so one of the clients that I worked with, she actually came to me as a mentee, and I just ended up working with her on her business. So she was really great at helping people write their books. And she's known as the self-publishing maven, right? The self-publishing maven. And when she started out, she was doing things, of course, behind the scenes. No one really knew who she was. She was, working for coins, stepping over dollars to get coins. And I just showed her how she can begin to create packages, how she could create programs, how she can create an event. And she went from maybe working with like 1 to 2 authors who were in the church arena. She was faith-based. And I opened her market to say, hey, there's still more money outside of the faith-based market. If you're open for it, other people have stories to tell, and you can be the one to help them self-publish their books. But I showed her how to become a teacher of this thing so she can get out of the competition lane, so she can teach it and also do the consulting and support work with it. And now she's thriving. Now she has helped self-publish over maybe 2,000 best-selling authors.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So she
that's
went
a
from
success
being
story.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about maybe some of the hurdles that you've had to go through or jump over, or maybe some resistance that you had, and what was it? So you were an amazingly beautiful African-American woman. And so I want to know a little bit of, even in your corporate career, because one of the things you talk about a lot that I love is resilience. So let's talk a little bit about what that having resilience in your life has looked like, whether it was years ago and pushed you forward or something that you've dealt with recently.
Absolutely. So a lot of the resilience, because it's a big challenge, and this is no male bashing, but it has something to say in terms of how we show up as women. Male speakers get paid maybe 7 times more than female public speakers. Male business coaches get paid at least 30 to 40% more than female business coaches and life coaches. Males they'll have in their conferences over 2,000 people. Women will have close to 100. Or a few more, right? And so it's a huge financial gap, and that's what I've been challenged with even in the past, and how to show up. And I had to shift my position of, hey, can you help me, to, hey, I have something to bring to the table, especially when working in such a male dominant industry. And because women also were gravitating to some of the men as well. So if I'm saying the same thing, they'll take it more from a Tony Robbins than from a Lucinda Cross, right? Or they'll take it more, but it was the people and the individuals who bring these people up. And if we start to support and share more of each other as women, we can help bring our platforms up to that great space where our voices matter as well. And so that is a huge challenge of resilience, because it's constantly, oh, well, you're not, and I'm not trying to compare myself to them, because these men are amazing. You're not, a Dan Kennedy, you're not Tony Robbins, you're not Vaynerchuk, Gary
Vaynerchuk,
yeah, and I love
you're
all
like,
of
good.
them. I know,
I'm not them.
I love them, but I know some amazing women who are still bringing the same kind of content that are not being showcased. And so that was a huge challenge for me, because I said, I'll always just stay here in the rock stage. I'll never get to the mountain, because these men are just dominating it. And if you're not coming out and you're cursing and you're just boisterous, you're not going to be seen. And I think feminine energy is way stronger than that,
So you're on a mission to change that. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bring more women
so that
up.
we can bring more women. We need more women at those levels, right? The Tony Robbins level, the Les Brown's level. Yeah.
And you exude this strong, feminine, beautiful energy. And I think a lot of times when I think sometimes it's like if you're a strong woman, it's like, oh, I don't know. But there's something about you that it's so, I'm so drawn to it. You know, like I love seeing you speak. I love hearing you speak because I think it's a power that I'm drawn to, not intimidated by. And I don't know if that's something that you've done on a very intentional basis or if that's just completely naturally how you are and it's just who you are. But I think, you know, for me, for myself, that's something that, you know, I think we're all trying to learn. How do we show up and be our authentic selves? Because I don't know about you, but I have tried so hard for so long to be different so that people could handle me. I always got, you're too much, you're too loud, you're too excited. This is a professional setting. You shouldn't be so excited. But I'm like, but that's why people want to work with me. It's like, I think because if someone doesn't like it, if they don't like my air and the way that I do things, guess what? They're not my client, and that's okay. You know, like the last corporate job I had, my boss, love him, and he did mean well, but he's just like, you are a lot when you walk into a room. You're tiny.
Wow.
Because he was like the super tall dude, and he's like, you're tiny, but you're a lot, and you're really excitable.
Wow.
And a lot of the men don't want that type of energy. And he totally meant it nice. But it was good. I would rather him do that and us have this educational moment where we can talk through that, right? Like, I don't get mad when men say stuff like that because he's also an incredible leader that was willing to learn. So I think that's something like I would love to hear some of the things that maybe you were told or that you looked at it instead of getting pissed as an opportunity to educate someone on, I hear what you're saying, but let's have a conversation about that and allow them to learn from you.
Yeah. You know, a lot of my great lessons came from women. Even when I think about in corporate America, you know, I remember my supervisor, she said, Lucinda, you're extremely smart. What you put together, I did this amazing proposal for the company to connect with the community. She said, and I used your proposal and we're going to implement the work. It's not going to be in your name. It'll be in mine. And I just think, and I just think that you should, and as she's talking, she goes to print out my resume and the job description. She says, I just think that you should stick with what's in your resume and the job description because this is not your position. And I'm standing there hearing that after sitting in this meeting, that the next meeting I'm going to hear how she's going to announce this great program because it was approved by her higher up, how they're going to implement this.
No.
And I'm getting no recognition. I'm not a part of the project. And so I was and then for her to hand me my resume and the job description and tell me to stick within that format, it told me, and I learned a huge lesson from that. I looked at her, I had a hot cup of tea in my hand, and I said, don't do it. Don't do it. I just want to splash it all over her computer, all over the printer. And I just took that as a lesson to say, never again will I allow another powerful woman to make me feel less than. Never again will I be in a position where someone can tell me that I'll be looked over. And I didn't take it as I was very frustrated and upset, ready to sign my 2-week resignation. But I took it as a point that I don't belong here because I don't want to spend the next 20 years waiting for retirement where I'm coming up with great concepts for a company that will swipe my work. And I'll never reap the reward for it, you know? And so at that point, I said, I could have done this myself. And it just showed me that, listen, you are sitting on your dream and you're going to encounter more of these less than moments until you decide to show up for yourself.
Man, it's so disappointing when it's a woman that screws over another woman, you know? And because I don't think it's a like man versus woman. I said earlier, there have been so many good men that were my leaders. My last boss, it helped me. I wouldn't, have the company that I have doing what I'm doing if he hadn't have been a champion for me.
Wow.
And for sure, there have been so many good women. Obviously, I wouldn't have her sort of success if I didn't have so many amazing women like Sherry Dorsman and Pat Shea and just so many. But man, that's so disappointing. So is that when you decided to break off and start your own company? Was that like the moment, or what did that look like after that thing happened?
That's when I said it's time to start my own thing. Yeah, at that moment.
Yeah. Well, I do want to say, like, I was talking to a girlfriend last night, and she's a VP, badass in corporate America. Love her. And I think entrepreneurship is not for everyone. And but it's not that you can't be a part of it. So if you think about my business partner, Melissa Aldridge, she is legitimately amazing, one of my favorite human beings. She has been on both sides of venture capital. She has raised money for funds. She's been the one that decided who got funding.
Wow.
So she's been on both. She's amazing. And everyone always told her, you should start your own company. You know exactly what to do. Like, you know how to do this. And she's like, but I don't want to start my own thing. So when she met me, she's like, but I want to help you take your vision and your passion, because she shared it, right? Like, her story of success is not mine. This is not my company. There is a we in it. And there are women. So the person listening, you can either be the one that says, I want to start this, or you can be the person that helps someone else's vision become a reality and do it together. Because no one has a company all by themselves. There is like so many moving parts. There's so many things, but Melissa finds so much joy in our relationship, in our partnership, and she knows that she's the one that has made it what it is. Like, I'm just the voice piece, right? Not just, like, it's obviously my idea, but she is just as important as I am. And I think, that's the thing. It's when you find yourself in a position where Lucinda was, and you're not being appreciated and you're being undervalued, that is your sign that says you don't belong here. And then your job is to go find where you do belong in the position that you want to be in and that you thrive in.
Yes.
I had a meeting with a couple of girls on my team, and one of them was like, hey, here's the 3 things I'm doing. I don't want to do this anymore, and I want to go do that more. And so we're making that happen. I hired another assistant to do the things that she was doing. So I think it's all about learning, like, where do you thrive? What are the things that you want to do? So as you are building your company, you now have this nonprofit. Share with us a little bit about what success looks like to you, as far as like, what do you love about what you're doing? You've spoken on some amazing stages. So maybe take a second and brag a little bit about the cool things that you're doing that also allow you to have the life that you love. Because it's one thing, people talk about success, but it's usually like just career focused. And I know you and I share kind of the same faith, and it's like, it's about your whole life. It's not just about your business, right? So share with us a little bit about what is it that you're doing that makes you love your life?
One, I'm able to, with my children, I'm big on family. And I would lie if I said that I got into entrepreneurship to spend more time with my kids. I was like, no, is there an after school program for the after school and a summer program for the after summer program? Because I wanted to dive more into my dream and my passion. It wasn't like, I hear moms, oh, I just want to spend time with my kids. No, that wasn't my story. I wanted to be able to drink wine in the afternoons and make some money, right? But
thank you for being honest.
Yes. But the thing here is that what I love about what I do is I'm able to speak on amazing stages like Essence Fest, right? Which is a huge accomplishment for me. I'm big on vision boards. And I say, the things that I put on my vision board, I was able to accomplish only because I was clear on going after these things. Working with brands like Delta and Nike, they were on my vision board as companies that I wanted to partner up with. To have them believe in the vision, to have Delta partner with me for women re-entry is huge. I had a tech company partner with me for women reentry and pour finances and resources into this community to help them. In addition to disadvantaged women, there's a lot of women who have started businesses who are failing after 3 years, and to help them with the resources that they need and the mentorship. I wanted to bridge that gap. And so that's what I love most about the business, the nonprofit and the for-profit. Is my job is to connect with brands and position myself to work with a Prudential, right, who is pouring finances into companies like mine and others who are supporting certain communities. To partner with Delta, to partner with Nike, for Nike to call me to go into inner city communities from LA to Atlanta to talk to young athletes about their visions, their dreams, and their goals, and to compensate me for it, a nice hefty check, right? They have me feeling like royalty. It's amazing. And so what I would say is, I wanted to dream beyond being an author, being a speaker, or a voice for the message, or being a business lifestyle coach. There's more to it. And what it looks like for me is positioning myself to have my own network, whether it's on an Amazon, a Hulu, a Netflix, or, just coming to your television where I'm able to showcase more awesomeness of what we as women do behind the scenes, And so that's the goal that I'm working towards now. And I've been making great connections, like being featured on BET, showcasing my vision board kits. That landed me a contract with Walmart to put my products in Walmart. So when we are able to take, God says, write the vision and make it plain, and he will provide the provision.
Yes.
And that's just a universal law, right? It's, if you are able to take the time to write down your wildest dreams without worrying about who's going to support. There's no way that you would tell me that scissors, glue, and glitter would be a product that I create that is in Walmart and sold, and I'm getting compensated in my sleep, and so those are the things. And so I'm in this because I'm able to help others, but I'm also able to provide and break generational curses within my own family that we have to live a certain type of way. My family, if I look at my history, have celebrated working hard and struggling. You work hard, you struggle, you make a living, right? You work hard, you struggle,
we got to break that.
Your job,
right?
You hate your job, you're frustrated, and then you are well into your 60s dealing with depression, right? Instead of traveling. No, when I hit 60, I want to be on the yacht with a Mai Tai in my hand.
Can I hang out with you?
Yes.
Can I come?
Let our husbands rub our feet.
Yes, ma'am. I love you. I love your vision. And honestly, like your vision of like having the network, that's literally my same vision that I've written down. I'm like, I want a show on Netflix or Amazon or one of those. And it's taking women like you that, you're getting a lot more notoriety, but like you're literally changing the world. Like you're making a difference. You're making an impact and you're making money, right? Like that's my whole thing. It's like, you don't have to have either or. Like there is enough to go around. And the more people we help be successful, the more that we're putting into this economy and the more that we have to do. And it's just, I think that's when I think about like the feminine energy and what this message is for women, it's get out of the idea of war and struggle and battle and competition. I am competitive, but also like, I don't know. It's not always like, I just saw a thing that Serena Williams has beat 23 or 24 of the 27 top people in the world, and the four that she didn't beat have been retired, like they retired before she started.
What?
So she is this champion, but she also empowers other women, and she didn't win every single match that she's ever played. So I love the concept of I want to help other people succeed. When I think of you and you say, I want a television show, I didn't immediately go, oh no, if she has one, I can't. I'm like, oh, how do we partner together?
Network.
How do I help you get yours? And guess what? I'm going to learn from you and you can help me get mine. We might partner together and have the same one. We might have two different ones, but you don't have to fail for me to succeed and I don't have to fail for you to succeed. We can both do it. You might have a little bit different message than I do, right? It's not competition. It's collaboration. And I think that's what I'm loving. I just feel like there's this wave of, collaboration over competition. So we've got a few more minutes. I'd love for you to now talk about like what you want to talk about, like, because you had like a couple of messages that you wanted to get out. So I wanted you to be able to just kind of have that chance. If there's one listener that's just become your biggest fan, like what's the one message that you want her to take away from her time with you today?
That you don't have to be perfect to be amazing, right? And just in order to be great, the best part of being great is doing it ugly. Don't fall into the perfectionism and the procrastination. The beauty of it is doing it messy and still putting it out there. I battled with trying to be perfect and it put me in a zone of procrastination. And therefore I missed out. And it left me watching everybody else soar while I was still trying to contemplate whether I should do it or not. And so give yourself permission to say, this is my time and my turn. I'm going to do it ugly. I'm going to fail forward. I'm going to give it a shot because life, you can either add more years to your life or you can add life to your years. Ooh. Right. And I prefer to add life to my years because there's years that I have been adding to my life that are not favorable and not productive. But moving forward, I want to add more life to these years. And the key is keeping things simple. My mother used to say, Lucinda, just kiss it. Keep it simple and sweet so that I can get out of this over analyzing in my head and overthinking and what if this happens and what if that happens? How about just do it? And so the one thing that I want everyone who's listening, watching to get is my book. It's called The Big Ask, ASK. It's on Amazon. You can get it on my website, lucindacross.com. But The Big Ask is such, I think is one of my favorite books out of the 5 that I have written. It's one of my favorite books. And I'm just going to keep doing a new edition of it because I love it so much. Men have no problem with asking. They show up, they ask, they're bold. Women receive and accept. So they'll receive what they're given and then sometimes they accept it. And it's not particularly what they want, but they say, oh, next time. No, there's no next time. This is what I want. This is how I'm going to get it.
I think I needed to hear that.
Exactly. Right. And so it's 21 keys on how to get everything you deserve or desire. You can get the book on Amazon. That's the first step. And then go to my website and say, Lucinda, let's have a conversation. I'm ready for my big ask and I'm there to help you.
I love it. And what's the vision board that you have? Is it a vision board kit? What is that you? Okay. Can they get that on your website?
Yes, they can go to my website and order the vision board kit. Yeah, we have one for career. If you're in career, because not everybody's an entrepreneur, career, college, entrepreneurs. And so you can pick the kind of kit that you want.
And then 2 more questions. One, I want to give you a chance to think about it. I want you to talk about how you define success for yourself today. And I'm going to give you a second to think about that because I want you to be able to share where can people find you? So on what's your website, your socials, where do you want people to connect with you?
So how do I define success today? Very different than how I did 5 years ago, 10 years ago,
yes,
right?
Ma'am.
Today, it's about me. I have given to everyone. I have served everyone. And now I am truly ready to say yes to myself, which I am doing. And I'm not asking for permission from anyone. And I told, my husband, my kids, my family, my friends, this go round, am I in Lucinda's world? Absolutely. And I want to love on everybody. But I'm not asking permission from anybody to do what I want to do. So if I decide to go to Africa tomorrow, that's what I want to do. And so for me, success looks like doing what I want, when I want, how I want. I think Tony Robbins said it. What I want, when I want, how I want. and with who I want, right? And so
Yes.
that's my success today is, what does Lucinda want to do? And we're going to go from there. And is it in alignment with God? And if it's not in alignment, God, help redirect me, because I may still do it anyway, but I just need your protection on the way, right? And they can find me. I love to hang out on Instagram. I have lots of great content on Instagram at Lucinda Cross. On Facebook is at Lucinda Cross Speaks as well. And just my website, just connect with me, get on the email list at lucindacross.com. And you can even download a vision board template, which is free.
Cool.
Go into lucindacross.com/freebie, FREEBIE, lucindacross.com/freebie. Download your template and then just get ready to activate.
I love doing what I do. I love having conversations with women like you that inspire me, that motivate me, that kind of give me the kick in the pants that I need. Like, you said a couple things, I'm like, I needed to hear that. That was for me today. And I'm going to be honest, I think we all need that. So thank you for just being you and showing up in the world. And I just have about 15 people I need to connect you with. So we're gonna do some things together. It's gonna be fun. So thank you so much for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me. To subscribe, click the circular icon, and to watch the latest episode, click the video on the right. If you listen to podcasts, check out Her Story of Success on your favorite podcast platform. See you next time.